Why'd you keep coming back? I want love you don't know. So why are you here? Yeah, I should take it back so that you don't know where my heart is at. Don't want you to know. The past, don't wanna complicate things. Maybe if I asked, was any of it real? Was it real? There's only one thing left to do. My heart is breaking on you, so let's put the sun back in the sky. Tired of crying, don't call me back, just say I'll say goodbye. Tired of crying, don't call me back, just say goodbye. There's only one thing, let's put the sun back in the sky. Tired of crying, don't call me back, just say I'll say
Radio Show.
Yo, 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 yo. Can you hear me okay? Let me get this off the screen. Yeah, can you hear me? Mr. Will.
There we go. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you clearly. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Sound like a little delay.
Mm.
All right, well, let's get started. Thank you for coming back to the show, TNJRadio. We're really excited. Just bear with us. We're going to move in this a little slow. Give me a second here because I got a special guest that's going to come on today. So got to send them the message. So give me a second here. Yeah, so how was your day, man?
It was a pretty good day. You know, busy, of course, as usual, but great day to be alive.
So when you say busy, what you mean? What was you doing?
Man, running around, doing stuff for kids, paying bills. I've been trying to, find someone to volunteer to pay the bills.
That's going to be a hard challenge, but hey, man, anything's possible. Yeah. Yeah.
Sound like a Disney.
I'm trying to get I'm trying to get this link to a couple people so that they're going to get on here. Just bear with me, man. But continue to talk, man. So how was your weekend? Heck, tell me about the football game the last 2 weeks. I know your son was almost did he get the player of the week? Talk about that for a minute.
Well, that was actually a couple weeks ago. That was 2 weeks ago. And he was voted number 3 as far as the player of the week in Pennsylvania. So it was good, man. He was doing his thing, getting them yards, making them
shots out. Continue.
Yeah, but the last week it was a tougher game. They still got the W, but they had to put that defensive lock on. So pretty good game, low scoring game, but W's a W.
How many yards did he get? The game that he was considered the top 3 in the tri-state area.
But $166.
Sound good, didn't
it? Right.
$166.
Yeah.
Man. Doing his thug bizzle. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So how did the game go last week?
It was pretty much a game of attrition. There was people going out, people getting hurt, people coming in, but like I said, it was a matter that defense had to stay locked and fit. But yeah, it was a pretty good game, man. That opening drive, man, first play, quarterback threw a 75-yard bomb touchdown.
I got one. Woo-wee. That's dope, man. So real quick, Mike, we see you in the queue. Just bear with us for a minute. Just trying to get into our groove, get real nice and slow. But first off, before we get into it, usually wait to the end to give shout out to our sponsors. We're gonna do it in the beginning, and you're gonna tell us what we're gonna talk about, and then we can get Mike on. All right.
Yeah, we got a couple of sponsors. Got to pay the bills, but also at the same time, these different organizations are out helping a lot of people. So we have up Sharonda Simone's YouTube channel. On there. Listen, ladies, like if you're into things about natural beauty, good products that you want to review. Motherhood, because we know it's hard being a mother, and at the same time maintain a Christian lifestyle, because I know some of you mothers, sometimes y'all might want to kill us or the kids, but either way, there has to be a balance. So she has a great channel, covering all those things. So I definitely, tune into Sharonda Simone on YouTube. We'll just put it on the banner real quick. There we go. Yeah, be sure to check it out. You don't want to miss a beat on it.
Also, what we want to give a shout out to, and this guy, he knows 100% of the information, man. He has a channel where he takes a different perspective, but also he talks about finances. I want to give a shout out to, bam, William A. Thomas, man. Go to his YouTube page. He's doing his thing on there. Right?
Absolutely. Where did I send your check to, man? You were saying all those things. I was just listening, like, man, who's he about to talk about?
Also, hit up my Josie Sports Nation channel where I talk about sports, but I do it from a different angle. We have a lot of success over there, so definitely check me out. All right.
No, real quick, I know that it would be bragging if he was actually to say this, and we'd be remiss, to mention that look, that Josie Sports Nation. If you want to hear some in-depth, balanced stuff in regards to sports, definitely be able to tune into there. A lot of people are watching. I mean, even Kwame Brown's watching. He
was watching. Give a shout out to him. Also want to give my shout out to my man Marlon Avan. Go to his YouTube page. He definitely talks about the women and relationships and different things like that. So check him out as well. Also, I would like you guys to check out our merch. Check out is one of our sponsors right here. Check this out. Check out one of our sponsors, afjcworldwide.com. That is afjcworldwide.com for our latest apparel, homeware, and drinkware. Definitely get a shirt for your husband, wife, doesn't matter. Again, check out afjcworldwide.com. Oh, yeah. Say that again. I got to take Marlon's thing off, man. Give me a second. I want to play that again for people just got on. Let me take that off right there. All right. So let's go back to that. Yeah, so definitely check out the merch. Get your... We're going to pull it up later, man, because we definitely trying to push this move, talk about a little bit later. Check out one of our sponsors, afjcworldwide.com. That is afjcworldwide.com for our latest apparel, homeware, and drinkware. Definitely get a shirt for your husband, wife, doesn't matter. Again, check out afjcworldwide.com. All right, man. So what we getting into today? We see you, Keith, in the just give us 1 second so we can set this up.
Yeah, man.
What we talking about?
One last sponsor. Don't forget, right now school started, guys. So a lot of kids are behind from last year. Be sure, if you have tutoring needs in Pittsburgh, be sure to check out Steps of Faith Tutoring and Enrichment Services. They're located in the Monroeville Mall. If you can in the Pittsburgh area, they do have online services, and once again, you can just go online. In fact, go on to Facebook. Their page is Steps of Faith Tutoring and Enrichment Services LLC. But now we got into all the smart stuff. Let's get into the dumb stuff. So we talking about a lot today. Okay. First, let's see. We got Joy Reid attacking the media coverage of Gabby Petito. You heard about Gabby?
Vaguely, but go ahead.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about it a little bit.
About it. Yeah, we like to get some intelligent people more smarter than us to get on here and educate us on this stuff. But go ahead.
Absolutely. We got Nicki Minaj. She's under attack from all sides. Also, Joe Biden's approval ratings have dropped. We want to know what you guys think about that. BLM New York protesting the famous restaurant Carmine's over their enforcement of the NYC vax mandate. This is an important question, okay? A lot of people would think yes, but maybe it's no. Do Americans actually want freedom anymore? And we saw that Bill Gates, he was getting kind of nervous there whenever Jeffrey Epstein was brought up during a PBS interview. So we want to definitely get into all of that.
And we're going to talk about the border. What's going on in the border here? What's going on in the border down there, man?
Man, it's looking kind of crazy down there. You know what? I want to hear, from, like I said, we have some experts that are going to be coming on to talk about it. But when I first saw that, I was like, I don't know how this is going to go. This may not go too well. They said it was like 6,000 at first. Not 6,000 got there, but they were reporting 6,000.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so let's get Mike on there first, and then just stay, bear with us.
All right.
Hello.
What's going on, Mike?
Hey, Mike, how's it going?
Oh, not too bad. You guys hear me?
I hear you fine. You got good audio. Where you calling from, Mike?
Pennsylvania.
Okay, we're going to do it early, man. So, what you want to talk about first? I don't know if you got a chance to hear, but we're talking about the border, about Biden's approval record. We're talking about what happened with what we call segregation in New York with the stores. People that's unvaccinated ain't allowed to shop and live their life. Where you want to start off?
You guys pick. I'm here for the ride.
All right. Man, I like this, man. So let's talk about the border. What's your border situation going on right now?
Well, the open border, with the Haitians.
And I don't know. And what's going on? And you see those Haitians over there, and they're getting back. What do you think about that?
We have a Haitian population here in the U.S. already. We have Haitians. I think we had about 6,700 come into Harrisburg yesterday. They're not deporting them as they're bringing them in. They, depending on the administration. Well, I'll pull back. So I work for a government agency that I can't disclose on your chat, and I've been training people for well over a decade to recognize child abuse and sex trafficking. So I've dealt with this type of work through the Obama administration, the Trump administration, now into the Biden administration, and so I'll start with that. With that being said, the concern I have about this, about just people coming in, they're not being vetted. Under the Obama administration, we received in Pennsylvania about 117,000 Iraqi, Syrian, and African refugees. Most of them actually reside in Erie. They were not vetted. Usually vetting process takes about 6 years. These people weren't vetted, and they came in, and we are a sanctuary state here in Pennsylvania. But that being said, people coming over the border take that it's not free. Every opening of the border is cartel. So people that come over, there are expectations for them to come over, and depending on, what cartel you come through, they could owe between $5,000 and $15,000 that they're going to have to then pay back, be some kind of servitude. So the Haitians coming, people, the Europeans that are coming over, from Africa coming over, Um, the only difference with Haiti, the administration had given an update, I believe, last week, and explained that Haitians are going to get special amnesty status because they have because of the earthquake or whatnot. That's where you see your influx. But the influx of people from any of these countries that come in, there's no vetting, and you don't know where they came from, and anymore you don't see. There's nothing about assimilation, right? The idea of like American idea or laws, you don't see that. There's countries that people come into, and you can still, in those countries, rape or pubescent child, a male child, and call it a sexual. Okay, genital mutilation is a thing for girls. Child marriages are a thing for the girls. There are rape gangs here in Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, Erie, Harrisburg, Lancaster. Okay, so it's not just we're bringing these people in and it's about like diversity or like these people are from like different backgrounds. When you bring people in different cultures and you come in, there are different sections, different cities around this state that have to bring different groups in, different cultural groups, separate them from one to the other. The Sunnis and the Shiites were killing each other for a long time. It's kind of that concept. Different groups of people, they don't mesh, and but that's what I have to say about the border. If you have any other questions about any stuff, go ahead.
Yeah, and thanks for calling in, Mike. I do have a question. I remember in the earlier reports that one of the big points was that they're going to be doing a massive scaling deportation. And I know that they had sent some of the Haitians to Haiti, whether they came from there or not directly. From your, I guess, scope of view, have you seen like any type of directive, like as if like if that was the original plan and maybe they changed it due to public opinion, or was it something that they were going to do to release them in the U.S. anyway? What have you been hearing?
So immigration is my field, so I can only tell you what I saw on the news, that about 600 were deported and the rest are being shipped in. I know that yesterday we had 6,700 Haitians were sent over here to Harrisburg. And mind you, back when the earthquake hit, what was it, 10 years ago now, over 10 years ago, we brought in Haitians. In Pittsburgh, Haitians brought in. And they were held in different facilities had them. I think Sacred Heart took in a couple dozen Haitian. So it's not out of the ordinary for us to bring in people. Lots of people. There's a whole Afghan community here. That's what I have to say to that.
You there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Do you think Biden is doing a good thing? I mean, a good job with the border. What's your thoughts on that?
My personal opinion or
personal. We want the smoke, man. Hey.
All right. So
don't be Mike. Don't do Mike. This can't be a beta male, man. Let's go.
All right. So on a personal opinion, job security, because it just increases the amount of work. On a humanitarian opinion, I can't swear. No. The ramifications. I'll give you an example. A few years back in the Obama administration, updates would come through work phones. Hey, a cartel's coming through Pittsburgh. Notify people that they're about to pick up a bunch of elementary school age kids. Okay, so when those gates are opened and they're not regulating things, you might see a couple dozen kids around the age of 10 disappear. And if they grab these kids, because cartels are coming in too. So there's gangs in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, I believe, is 7th in the nation for trafficking. Okay, we're a corridor. We go to Canada, we go to Mexico, we go to Okay, I-80 is a corridor. So, the idea that like it's just like, oh, we're just bringing these people in. There are religious gangs that actively traffic children, and they go into your schools. And this is around the nation. This isn't just the Pennsylvania. They go into the school and they talk to the kids from these nations. Right, parents come in, chain migration happens. The kids come along too because they got the kids. They have to stay. There's an expectation. They're paying, right? You have to pay the cartel money to. How do you do that? How do you produce? What do I know from my country, right? Because child labor and those child rights that we have here, and in the European society that we're in, they don't exist in places where these people come from, right? The idea of human life isn't there. So you have parents sending their kids into schools, boyfriend and girlfriend kids. They bring them back home. Those kids are then trafficked. Okay, they're abducted and it's not talked about because it hurts property value. We're not going to talk about it because it's a political thing. Because it's going to come back to a sanctuary state actually may not be the best thing. These are things that happen. They happen on the day. Like this isn't anything new, and it's not talked about. And there are some very nice areas in different parts of the state that it would blow your mind how bad it was. But it's not talked about. And it makes money. Everybody makes money. The government makes money from it. And the traffickers make money from it. It is a mutual thing. It is not. It's not just the traffickers making out on this one.
Wow, man.
You take a kid. Look, you take a kid, right? So you got a kid, and you get a kid that 60% of foster kids in the United States are sex trafficked. People don't know that, right? So let's say
how many percent?
60% of foster kids in the United States are national statistics are sex trafficked. 60%. Okay, so let's say you take little Johnny, and Johnny is a 15-year-old boy, because 45% boys are sex trafficked, 5% girls. Boys aren't talked about. It might be more, but a lot of them, they're too prideful and they don't want to talk about what happened, right? But let's say we have little Johnny. Johnny's 15 years old. Johnny gets taken by the state for neglect, right? What did Johnny not have? Johnny didn't have that parental love, right? He didn't have that oversight, so he's looking for love somewhere. So Johnny now goes in the system. He goes into a group home. In the group home, he meets another kid. Another kid tells him, "Hey, listen, man, you make a bunch of money. Come to this house, let's party." He goes to the house and he goes to party. They go back and forth a little bit. They get like booze and they get drugs, this, that, and the other. Next thing you know, the person holding the party says, "Hey, you gonna pay me for all this? You can't pay. So what are you gonna do?" They're gonna send that kid out and doing some small time crime. But the real expectation, they want Johnny's body, because Johnny's body is going to pull a lot more. Black and brown pull some money, white children pull more, Asian kids kind of on the in between, and this is what they do, and it's systemic. If you talk about systemic racism and that, this is a system that is set up, and it's known that this is happening, but it just is what it is, and so now Johnny's trafficked. Okay, so now Johnny's trafficked, right? Traffickers are getting a little bit of money now. These traffickers, right? 80% of the time are working for a cartel south of the border. Okay, they might be black and brown traffickers, but at the same time, they got people that they're that are paying. There are cartels in the state that control this state. It's a thing. Gangs participate in this as well. But now, okay, so now let's say the gang here, right, is making money off of little Johnny. So they're getting paid. Guess who else is getting paid? The government. Because now this kid comes back and they do what's called a CSEC assessment, which is a child sex trafficking assessment. So now the state comes in, they go, look, he has all the flags for trafficking. Let's run an assessment on him. Now they do the assessment. What do? They get federal funding because being sex trafficked. It goes round and round.
What?
Now the kid has extra funding, and it's another piece of paper, and more government funding comes in. That's what you get. So it's a circling firing squad of children going through traumatic situations. Sometimes they get killed, and that happens too. So you're not going to see child abductions, that Amber Alert crap that you see. You don't see that. Why? Because of property value. If an Amber Alert went out, a kid was abducted or a kid being sex trafficked and got lured away, your phone wouldn't stop going. There's an estimated about 170,000 children that get abducted every year into sex trafficking rings, and they're not foster kids. Okay, so the idea, and it's across the board. It's white, brown, black, Asian. It doesn't matter. The cartels will grab a kid that are usually around the age of 10. You won't see him for a couple of years. see them again. And when you come back, you have an adult sitting there.
Hey, Mike, man, we loving this conversation, man. We appreciate you coming on and talking to our audience. Will you have a question?
I just kind of blown away. Up here in Pittsburgh, we had a few. Actually, Pittsburgh is at a hubs as far as I've seen with the sex trafficking. Have you been seeing things about that in Pittsburgh, Mike?
Yeah, you have a few different spots that are hot spots. Fox Chapel, McKeesport City, up in the North House area, and Mount Lebanon.
Wow, man, that is crazy. So just to repeat what you were saying, so you said a lot of Haitians, 7,000 is in Pittsburgh as of yesterday.
Harrisburg.
Interesting. So why do you think that they decided to share that that they're bringing all these Haitians back to their country?
One more time.
Why do you think the media decided to post that? Well, I didn't see CNN talking about it at all. I was trying to look today, but the media is actually sharing it because that picture with the Haitian was walking and the guy was on the horse and he was trying to deter him from coming to a certain area. Why do you think they posted that on the media if we're actually keeping a lot of Haitians here?
I mean, in today's society, anything turn into a racist thing, they're going to do. Everything is now about race and everything is about victim status. Like, let's just these people are oppressed and let's make a what would be a Hispanic male looked like to me on a horse whipping a black Haitian, so anything
Right.
that potential racism and victimhood. So let's go ahead and just do that. And just make it into something and hype it and turn a situation that is a crisis. These people are the heat, and there's not just COVID you're worried about there. There's all sorts of disease that come with them. You're coming from a country that has the running water's not there. The hygiene's not there. The medical isn't there. So the tricky thing here is they're on the teeth of the player, right? So you can't work, you can't do too much of anything. Certain businesses will hire you under the table, but at the end of the day, you're getting free housing, you're getting food stamps, you're getting a stipend for your children. In this state, you can put them on Social Security and Medicare. So but there's a homeless population in Pennsylvania. There's poverty in Pennsylvania. You're bringing in more mouths to feed, but mouths that have to earn how they got there in the first place. And so, there's, I don't know. It can be very upsetting if you think about it too much, if you go into depth about it too much, because the ramifications for that, kids coming in, some kids, they come in, they might go, all right, well, you're going to be trafficked. You're going to work here. You're going to be a little yummy, a little child shooter. They have those too. They bring them in, right? They bring kids to recruit other kids in gangs. They bring kids that come in that are going to be shooters for certain things. All right. They bring in kids to be trafficked. They could be bringing kids for the workforce. There's organ harvesting in the country. Okay. Another problem in Pennsylvania that is not talked about. Laws were changed a few years ago, or there are satanic cults here in Pennsylvania that actively prey on children. All right. And they traffic children as well. But they traffic children within their own group. So it's the reporting process in Pennsylvania. They had to add boxes after the Catholic Church scandal. They started running into what would be satanic groups, which is called SRA, ritualistic abuse. They started running into kids that were being trafficked that turned out to be in a satanic cult, right? So they had to change the boxes in the questionnaire. you have a case, a sexual abuse case, you start talking about like the sexual abuse, the questions that are asked in the reporting center, the intake worker is going to then ask, is the family religious? And if you say, yeah, the family's religious, then they got a whole new page of questions that they got to see if it's SRS. Okay, so it's layered. It's not just at the border here in PA. It can be layered, but there's a lot of it. 87% of the reports in Pennsylvania are sexual related for child abuse. 87%.
Okay, we see you. Sorry about that. We see you, Aston. We're gonna go to Keith, then Swanee, then Aston. You want to say any last words? Hold on. Take one of them off real quick.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, Mike, you still there?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to say your words, man? We got to go to a couple callers, but we really appreciate you getting on.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me on, guys. It's nice seeing you again, Laurent.
Oh, definitely, man. Appreciate you. Now, before you get off, we're going to ask you one question. Do Americans want them in your opinion?
One more time.
Do you think Americans want freedom? No.
I think the majority do. I think a few handful, specifically in the cities, don't necessarily understand what that means. But I think anywhere beyond the cities, from the suburbs to the country, people want it. They want to be left alone. I think a lot of that is to be left alone. But yeah, I think generally they do. But if you sacrifice any liberty for freedom, you don't deserve any of it. You know, so it's you get a way between it.
Fact. Well, Mike, we really appreciate you, man. Maybe one of these shows, we would love to have you as a guest host. You know, this was like a short period when we tried to reach out to you, but
no,
all right.
All right, dude. I'll sit down. I want to hear the rest of the show.
All right,
man.
All right, let's go to Keith. That was deep, man. Mike was killing it, man. We got to have him back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keith, you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Loud and
Hear you good. Where you calling from, Keith?
Calling from the DMV area.
DC in the building? Maryland in the building?
I'm in the space. Yeah, man. So you guys have the topics of the what's currently going on at the border. Is that the subject?
Yeah.
Whatever you want to talk about. We're talking about things, man. Whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah. What I was concerned about was what's going on at the I believe that's the Texas border with the Haitians. And I was just concerned about just the I saw that picture, and that picture may be in a certain context, but it's not a good look. It's terrible. It looks very terrible. It's very gut wrenching. It's it tells a story of just heartbreak, to the average person. A lot of things could have went on with that picture, but you got people down there, the Haitian people, who right now have a country in turmoil. Their president was just political authority was just murdered. They just had a natural incident where it was an earthquake. So the secret refuge at this moment, from what I believe, from what I understand, they're turning these individuals away. I believe they have to come out with some type of screening, some way to give some type of refuge to these persons. I've heard numbers of 12 to 13,000 Haitians. If that's accurate, it keeps changing. but they're not getting the treatment that other groups may be getting, such as people that are coming from the Middle East. They have a chance to come here, and they get turned away. They're trying to seek refuge. I just don't like that situation. Just from off the top, from the limited information I know, it just doesn't buy well with me. The way the Haitian migrants are being treated. I know it's beyond the single picture from the gentleman corralling that man, and the aerial photo with all those people. But just considering the backdrop of everything that's going on with the Haitian people, I think they need a little bit of more refuge. That's just my opinion.
Okay.
Obama, he sent more immigrants back to their country than any other president. Did you know that?
Well, I'd rather focus on the here and now. I didn't know. I wasn't aware of that. But I'd rather focus on the here and now. I mean, just as far as like where, Haiti is at right now. They've had, a lot of destabilization that's happened to them in the last couple of months. There's got to be some type of sanctuary for these people. It seems like when a person of color, a person of dark color, needs refuge, it's a lot more obstacles to get what they need. That seems like a pattern to me.
Right. Our last caller, Mike, he said, I don't know if you heard that part, but he was saying that there's a lot of Haitians in Pittsburgh, their house, or Harrisburg, they're housing a lot of them and taking care of them. But I don't know. You can't take care of a whole country, man. You know what I mean?
No, you can't. No. Granted, Haiti is millions of people, and this is only the people that are at the border is only a small sample of people from Haiti. America is a huge place. We have some resources. We have capabilities. We pump monies into all types of efforts. And I believe, if I guess this is just far out there, we could offer some type of sanctuary. We've offered our, according to your previous caller, America does, offer sanctuary to some Haitians, but just looking at the dire situation that they're in, I think that they could be given a little bit more leniency. Of course, every character in that crowd is not, the best person. I'm not going to be naive to say that every person in the Haitian community or whatever community is the best citizen. But I think there's ways to screwing people out, right? Rather than sending the whole crowd back, right? Go ahead.
I understand what you're saying. I respect what you're saying. I have to push back this a little bit. Back in the 80s, that movie Scarface, it was fictitious, but I don't know if you noticed back in the day they started having all these Miami Vice and different things like that because a lot of those people were under Castro's regime and they were doing bad. And he sent all them people over here. That's when crime went up, murders went up in Miami, because Miami was just a retirement place. Nobody went to Miami. It wasn't like how it is today. When LeBron James said he's going to bring this town out South Beach, it wasn't like that. And they allowed all these people to come in. And I know some people came in from the 70s. They came in from Africa, from Jamaica, and they had to. It was so hard for them. They had to. First off, they had to be vaccinated. Like everybody had to be vaccinated. They had to have a sponsor, right? So they couldn't come here unless they had someone who, and they checked their account too. So they couldn't use public assistance. They had to have a sponsor that would take care of them for a certain period of time. You know what I mean? And there was so many loopholes to you know what I mean? And now they're just allowing certain people to come in. For me, I feel like they shouldn't let these people in. They should put America first. You know, because America's hurting. Like, how you treating them better if, you know, people who, you know, they say African Americans are not the ones, I mean, they're not getting vaccinated, right? I don't know if those numbers are true, but they're treating them different than they treating these people from overseas, right? We're paying taxes and everything else, and they're treating us wrong. You know, a lot of people is not vaccinated. What do you say to that?
That was so. As far as the vaccination piece,
good. Well, I'm just saying, don't you think they should treat America first before they treat, you know, get all these people that we don't know who they are, we don't know if they're vaccinated or whatever, you know, taking their shots, and they're not treating us right, and you're saying that they need to care of people overseas because of what they're going through?
So as far as the whole the America first thing, you know, in respect to the vaccination, America's being very proactive right now and very assertive in terms of getting everyone who is a U.S. citizen vaccinated, whether, especially if you're in the worker bee ranks, you know, it's a push to get everybody vaccinated. If you're a regular citizen, you know, they're trying to get people vaccinated as much as possible. You know, they're putting the stats out there, they're putting the figures out there. They may not be putting everything out there in terms of all the risks that comes with vaccination, but that's another subject. But they're doing their best to get people vaccinated. As far as you know, the whole concept of taking care of America, I think America's always done that. But I think at the same time, there's been like a double standard in terms of how they, you know, you look at we just left Afghanistan. We talked about this subject. And they're about to bring over Afghani persons to several states and several areas in the United States. So America, you know, is always going to put itself first. It always has some type of, you know, agenda behind it, some type of purpose behind it, right? They're not just doing it just for benevolence. I don't believe that. But you know, it's a double standard to me when you can't create some type of system to facilitate the transition of Haitian persons that may need additional help. Right? They you know, I know they could.
I mean, you have other countries, though, right? Yeah, Europe is doing well. Why do they have the United States?
Well, let me just interject in there on that, Keith. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so one of the things that's happening is that whenever the reports were first put out, it was saying, all right, the U.S. is going to do a mass deportation of the Haitians. That's what they put out there in the news. But behind the scenes, and also you see the like you'll see the news reports of people saying, I don't even know this country. I haven't lived in here since 2010. You know, a lot of them have been living in South America and Chile, Brazil, different places like that. That's what they were putting out there in the news first. While behind the scenes, as of just like Mike had said, and I did look at the reports, it's true. You know, as of yesterday, 6,700 Haitians were actually, you know, sent into Harrisburg and probably other places also. So why do you think it is that the media is pushing, I don't know what they're saying there, if you think it's a narrative or not, I do, but why do you think that they're primarily putting that thing out there of these Haitians are getting mass deported, you know, in the first place?
That's a very good question. There's always going to be a slant with any news station affiliation. But, you know, I think that, you know, that if they let a small sample of Haitians in, I think that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. But I don't think it's the whole story. Whether it's them sending them home or letting them in. I wish I had more facts to speak on that. They could probably do more for Haitian people. I'm pro helping. And I'm glad that there was some type of alleviation for the Haitian people. I don't know how long they had to wait to get into America, or into Pittsburgh. But all I see is crises. Those people, the people are in the Haitian peoples are in a crisis at this moment.
Okay, yeah, and I certainly agree.
Start
there is a
in your
crisis.
house, man. You gotta take a couple. So just joke. I'm joking, Keith, man. I said take them in your house.
We all
man.
do. We all do. We can support the cause.
You like no, put them in the community center down the street, not my house, huh?
Now, Keith, I wanted to get your opinion.
Hey, but either way, we're gonna be paying. We're gonna be putting out taxes. All of us gonna be supporting anyway. That's how it's gonna happen. It's gonna come out of our pockets because other groups of people are going to get some type of welfare, right? From the U.S. Like I'm gonna keep going back to the Afghani people. They're gonna get some type of welfare from you and I, right? They may not be living in our homes, but they're gonna be living through our taxes, right? So it's so either way, we're gonna be accommodating.
Well, that brings a good question. Okay, how do you think the people who are going through the immigration process, like the regular process that usually takes years, how do you think they feel about this?
Well, especially the persons that have to go through to that process as far as like getting through to the United States. I would imagine that when they're applying and they're trying to get to the United States, they have a system set up. They have a protocol set up. They have persons that they can connect with, where they're a little bit more in a stable situation. But looking at where we're at in places like Haiti, where people have been displaced, and there are political regimes vying for power, and you have environmental crises. They're at a disadvantage, right? So I know people that I believe that people that are applying and waiting for their time to get in the U.S. Yeah, they're going to be kind of peed off.
What happened? We lost him.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get Swanee on, and then if he come back, and then I'm asking. Matter of fact, leave Swanee on, and we're gonna get Ashton on. Swanee's host anyway. All right. Hey, Swanee.
Yep, I hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, he well, man. Look at Ashton over there, man, looking like $1 million.
What's going on, y'all? How y'all feeling over there?
Look at him out
Can
here.
y'all hear me?
I ain't seen him in a minute.
I know. I ain't seen you since Vicky died. Well, what's going on?
Oh man, just out here trying to be like you. Oh, shoot. But anyway, nice to see you, man. First,
see you as well.
we'll go to Ashton, and then you can help us with hosting. Yeah. So but
What are your thoughts on what's going on at the border, Ashton? Or you know what? I'm sorry. What did you want to talk about first?
Well, I'm following along with everyone else is speaking on. So, I'm not trying to rock the boat. But I can talk about it, I think, from a very more personal experience, just because I actually live in Texas. And I'm also with someone who's going through immigration. So, and it's very difficult scenario, just getting through the immigration process that's currently constructed. So regardless of how legitimate you are, the relationship and all that, or even if you're coming through like a work visa or whatever that may be, whatever side you're coming from, it's a very difficult process. So in terms of what I was seeing in terms of Haiti and coming here, being deported out of here, it's a massacre. Because it's on a lot of sides when you see that people who want to be here, who are looking to add to what America has, to bring value, bring their skills, bring their talents, bring their dreams. I think it's a great thing, and I think that we need to have those people here. However, there are also other people who are so good that are trying to do things that are not as, recommended or whatever that may be. Now, the difficult task I have with this, and some people are not going to like what I'm saying, but when is the moment that America became the standard or the moral god of people? Because the amount of things that take place in America, when did we get the right to be judging anybody on what, regardless of how good or bad they may be? Now, that does not mean that we want all bad people here. That does not mean that I'm saying that we should just let anyone come through. No, if you see a scenario where someone is known to be doing something wrong, obviously we don't need to add to that problem by bringing them here, clearly. But when you're looking at the situation like the one you brought up before about we can take care of America, I can see where you're coming from. But when is that moment? What specific measurable event is going to take place for you to feel, or even Americans as a whole to feel, that they are taken care of completely? What is that exact specific
Good
things
question.
or several things? And I want to ask you about that before I continue.
Well,
That's a great question.
Wayne, you
go
got
ahead.
anything?
Well,
Well,
All right, can you hear me?
what you say? Yeah, good. I hear you well.
Okay. Yeah, that's you made a lot of great points. But the real thing is we got to understand the culture of America, and it goes way back from the times of slavery. After slavery, after the slaves were somewhat free, okay, according to the law, you had the Homestead Act in the late 1800s, right after slavery ended. And that allowed a whole bunch of migrants and immigrants really to come into America. They were not African migrants. They were European migrants that come to America. The U.S. government gave them land at a cost of 0% interest before they even gave land to the African slaves that were here in this country. So you got to understand the culture of America. America has always been inviting migrants to this country. And what's been happening is, people that look like us on the screen have been pushed to the bottom while the others come in and take up all the resources. And now we as taxpayers are paying for their benefits while we are still struggling and starving in 2021. But when we hear things about expulsion of the Haitian people, and we talk about the Afghanistans coming in, we talk about the Japanese coming in, we talk about the Chinese coming in, we talk about all these different ethnic group of people coming into America and reaping the benefits. But folks who look like us on the screen get pushed away almost immediately. Now, it almost seems to happen when Democrats are in office. I'm going to keep it real. It always seems to happen when Democrats are in office. They push out the people who look like us on the screen, and they bring in all these other migrants into this country that push us out. And what's happening is actually we are losing our jobs. That we don't even know it. They're coming in, taking up our jobs, and that's no problem of anybody coming in. But I look at the analogy as like this. Okay, we have a family. Now I have a wife and I have 4 kids. Now my family is struggling in this household, but I'm gonna go outside this household and take care of the family across the street. Now, how does that make sense when my family inside this household is struggling? So it doesn't make any sense, and that's what I see happening right now. And Laurent, to your point, America first. We are the people. We the people should be the people, not the people in power.
Now,
Okay.
What were you saying, Ashton?
Oh no, I didn't want to interrupt you. I was about to say something, but I didn't want to interrupt you. I was about to say something.
Well, go ahead and say what my perspective.
Oh yeah, I mean, I definitely see where it comes from, especially if you're using an example of like you taking care of the next family. And again, that's always subject to opinion because there's, if you've got your family stuff handled well and you decide to do that, that's one thing. But again, when I look at, like you said before, we've always been bringing other people here. I mean, everyone here was an immigrant besides the Native Americans. So, it's not like we're, even though we may be here by force initially, at least, though, when you look into the situation, it's like, for me, everyone that we have, in America and all the people that have come here have added some level of value. It's not like I'm looking at a situation where I see someone who's a different culture or even not from here and they are lesser than me or someone who doesn't bring value. For a moment, the richest man on earth was Elon Musk, and his parents are from South Africa. So when you look at the situation, there is a lot of the immigrants that have come here have brought a lot of value. So when you're talking about paying for them during a time, but what about all the businesses and the billions of dollars, trillions of dollars that they've generated for America that makes America have the financial power that it does? So when I look at the situation, yeah, there are some bad people that come regardless of, and there's no way to always guarantee that the person cannot become bad. The government does not have a button to just make sure that no one becomes bad. If they did, they would get America together to begin with. So, when you look at the situation now, it's hard for me to judge a lot of people wanting to come here and bring value.
You got to understand, but Ashton, you have to understand, especially in Mexico, there's a big cartel going on over there. So a lot of those people are leaving their country, setting up shop here. They're drug trafficking, they're sex trafficking. So we have to have some type of system to kind of filter that stuff out. And don't So if you look on the West Coast, Mexicans don't like black people. Like the people that's up there, they're fighting against each other. They're killing each other. I think just do it right. You know what I'm saying? Like Mexico can walk over. They can walk over to Texas, correct? But people from Africa cannot. They have to come on the plane and they have to do it right. You know what I'm saying? They can't just come over here and stay here. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying we got to have a system just to do it right. I'm not opposing them coming over here, but you have to do it right. Like, how is it I have immigrants family, my wife's family. They came over here and they did it right, and they'll tell you right now they don't want people from Jamaica coming over here unless they do it right. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's a lot of people contribute, but there's a lot of people who can't contribute. There's a lot of old people coming here that we have to take care of. There's a lot of people who just don't want to. I mean, or let me ask you a question, because you say you're close to the border. How is the border? How is that area? Like, is it what they say? Like in Rios and all this other stuff. How is it? Like, where are you at?
I mean, it's pretty bad. It was ironic that I was, going through that whole area recently, actually. But it's obviously not as good as it could be, and it's definitely looking pretty crazy, to say the least. I can't even say it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. And I think that the news has maybe when they put it out, it looked even crazier, but it's still not good. I'm not gonna try to talk and act like this isn't a problem, because it definitely is. And so there's a lot going on, but when I look at the situation on both sides, it's if you're saying there's a cartel, I understand that. But again, like I said in the beginning, I'm not telling anybody to just let anybody come through America. If they're clearly doing something wrong, you can verify that, like the government does everything else. They can see everything. They be watching our phone. They can find out whatever they want to find out. If they see that there are people that's doing things that are wrong, then okay, those people we make sure they don't come through. Because, for example, on this side, when you have someone that you're with and you're trying to get them through immigration, the person who they're sponsoring them has to have their bank information ran to make sure everything is good. It's costing about almost $2,000 to get someone through the door out here. On top of that, you have to then make sure that your credit is at a certain level to make sure that you can get people through the door, or get people, but your either spouse or friend, whoever that may be, work employee, whatever that may be. You got to be able to take care of that, that person, or the job that you're offering them has to be able to take care of that person. So, amongst that, if it's a relationship, you got to show proof of your relationship in all these different areas, and take a lot of photos and make sure you document every single photo. Then you got to pass an interview. So it's a thorough process, and both people get background check to be in here, regardless of wherever they came from. So what I'm saying is, obviously they can increase the system if there's an issue where some people are doing something wrong. Okay, cool. That no one can argue about that. But if it's not clear and they're just saying no to anybody just because, then that's the problem. You know what I mean? Just for the sake of saying no.
Well, let me
for me, when I look at it, it's definitely about making sure that we have people that are going to come here and contribute, that don't have some crazy situation that they're involved in currently, that are trying to add negative to America. But also want America to understand that we've got to be not so sheltered and look around and see, hey, there's other ways of looking at the world. So much we got talked about, like some of the racism and so many things before. A lot of that comes because people just don't want to accept that someone could think differently or look differently or be different than them. If they let that go, we wouldn't have half these problems. People wouldn't be killing each other, shooting each other. People would just think differently, and it's okay. And just let it be. So, I don't want to overtake the time, but I just want to make sure that, I explain that to you guys and see what, hear your thoughts and see what y'all think.
Well,
man, we like what you the energy you bring in. Go ahead, Will.
Okay, so on one end, whenever you say someone doing wrong, that's been something that's been more so a concern in the last 50 years, and that's related to what happened in Miami and in recent times the terrorism stuff. But the general, I'll say, outlook or the thought process of immigration is it's the marketplace, and the marketplace pays for value. So what they're looking for is, are these smart people? Are these hardworking people? Are these people that are going to be able to ultimately add money into the economy and to be able to probably, pay taxes, also, because the government's going to be looking out for the government. They want to be able to get as much money back as possible. So that's why whenever you say credit, they're looking at the sponsor's credit. They're looking at the sponsor's history and so on. That's no different than whenever you're looking at a job. If you refer someone who, and I know everyone's probably done it before, to where you referred someone on the job and you're like, hey, don't embarrass me. Do not embarrass me, on this job. Don't be calling off, none of that craziness. And, if you ever had a situation where someone did embarrass you, like it's terrible. Your supervisor was like, man, why'd you tell me to hire them? But with the immigration, side of it, yes, there is a focus on looking at possible risk, but on the other end, we're looking at, if what's going to make America end up looking better. And from America's standpoint, they want to see if people are going to be able to integrate into, what current American society is. Now, the marketplace still pays, for value, because there's another side to it where the illegal immigration can be valuable. And one of the big things of that is if they're being used for a voter stop. There are groups, usually a certain political affiliation, that can benefit off of that. So they may be more apt towards.
And that's right.
Yeah,
you're right, and that's why I think that they're housing people in Texas, as it's a Republican state, and they're trying to flip that state. They're trying to get them in Harrisburg, like Mike was talking about. They're trying to flip these states. They don't care about these people. You know what I mean? They don't. They flip these states. You see, California, they shut that down because all the Democratic policies is going on down there. So Texas got to watch out because everybody's moving to Texas. It's funny that everybody talk about Republicans and these governors, and they're not for it, but everybody's moving there. You see Bill Maher, these comedians who are so to the left, they're going to Republican states because that's the only place they can make money. But the interesting thing is they move to these states. Stay up there. They move to these states, and then they flip it when the election time coming, and then things change, and then you upset that that you locked down again. It's not like they're not changing their thought process. But I don't like about the whole situation, But I will say this: Africans, Nigerians, for instance, the ones who came over from Africa, country of Africa, they're making more money per household than white people. People don't say that. Like, they are coming over here, getting education, and they're making more money. Chinese people, Indians, what you're saying, they are working over here. But like I said, we got to watch for the sex trafficking, the gangs, because there's a lot of that stuff going on there. Keith was on here. He's from the DC area. There's a lot of things going on in Baltimore. So that's my thing. Like, yes, you heard what Ashton said. It's hard if you try to do it the way. My thing is, I would be upset the people who cheat the system. Like, they're stealing people's identities, getting and stuff like that. I would be mad about that. Like, how am I have all this stuff. I got to keep my credit right to keep my girl over here, and you checking on everything we do, but they're coming over here and stealing people's information. What y'all think about that?
Well, that's been going on for years. And you think about it. You think about the immigration process, and my brother Fawn Naji would tell you best. But through that immigration progress, there's a lot of questions they ask you, and through that process, they tell you especially if you're from the west coast of Africa or even in Nigeria, and the whole region, they tell you to stay away from other African Americans or people who look like you. Stay away from them, and that's a true story. And for many years, I see that play out until most recent years. People start talking to one another because they say, "Oh, well, we were told that we weren't to speak to you," and that's a problem. So you got a lot of folks, a lot of immigrants, and that come in here, and their whole purpose is to.
Well, when you say they, who are you talking about? When you say they, who are you talking about?
I was just about to ask that question. Who is they?
They in terms of what?
They say to not deal with the African Americans.
The immigration process, the government. This government is set up. The government is set up and designed. I have a whole lot of people that work in certain positions that I know who work in immigration right now, and I can't say their names. I'm not going to say that, but I know firsthand knowledge of how the immigration process is.
Swanee snitching right now. Pay attention.
Truth be told, a lot of people who come over and immigrate to America, they get resources, they get Social Security, they get welfare way before somebody who's been here 400 years get it. That's just a fact.
You gotta educate me because I don't know. Oh, wait, I gotta break it down because I don't know this. You're saying they get what do you mean? So you say they get Social Security? You mean like 65? What are you talking about?
Now, what I'm saying is, those who immigrate to the United States of America due to refugee status, due to coming here to make a better life, or whatever it may be, they come over here in groups of families. Sometimes one, sometimes two, sometimes a whole family. They go right down to the Social Security office, apply for Social Security, and their whole family get it.
Interesting. That's interesting right there.
Well, I want to understand.
They don't have to be 65.
So it's not welfare?
It don't matter. They get it almost instantly.
Somebody's in the comments of what you're saying, so I guess you're right. So continue.
I'm telling you, these are things that you're not going to see on the mainstream media. They're not going to talk about those kind of things. You have a liberal administration who pretends that they care about the people, but behind closed doors, they don't care about the people. And the people I'm speaking of is us right now here in America. And America, the current administration would tell you we're a nation of immigrants. Now, I got to tell you, I'm a descendant of slaves in this country, African slaves. We are not immigrants. We have been brought over here our ancestors have been brought over here against their will and been put to work. And they're the ones who built this country. They're the ones who built that wealth for Elon Musk and all the rest of these elites in the world. We built that wealth for them. And over in Africa, they stole the resources, and that's why they're rich today. They did the same thing to the people over on the continent. They give reparations to every other group besides us.
You got anything to say to that?
I don't think anyone's really disagreeing with that, Swanee. I mean, when it was said earlier, it was just more so in the picture of both things can be true at the same time. We can be, we are immigrants, but it was a terrible, one of the worst I could think of process of actually getting here. So we came through slavery, but regardless
but
of
we're kind of getting off topic, man. So I hope we trying to get it back. We can't go back to talking about 1876 and all that. We got to subject.
Yeah, I was going to talk about Pocahontas and how.
All right, let's mute his up.
Listen.
All right.
Let me say. Can I say this real quick?
Yeah,
Let me say this real quick, if you don't mind. Americans spend $100 million a month in Afghanistan for the last 20 years. They have money for whoever decides to migrate or immigrate into the United States. They have money for them, and they have money for the people who are already here.
Okay.
There's no reason why they should be sending migrants away.
Now, why? Okay, if that's true, why would you? Why do you think?
We that, bro. Come on, man.
Bro, I gotta say, but I don't know where you found this information at. I am currently taking someone through immigration right this very second. So I don't know where this money's at. If you know, please send it to me. Get me something set up. I don't know where it's at. I am paying for all this stuff out of my pocket, cash. I don't know where this is at.
I don't think you understand what I said. What I said is that this government has been paying or spending $100 million a month in Afghanistan for the last 20 years. That's a fact. What I'm saying is if they can find money for that, they can find money for those who want to come to the United States, either the right way or not. They have money for that purpose.
Go ahead, Anthony. Get him.
I'm just trying to find out where this money is. Because I don't know where it's at. So, I mean, I'm not here to, just go back and forth about it. I just want to know if you have.
I'm here for that. Let's go.
If you're saying if you have a place that the government is giving the money out to bring immigrants, please let me know, because I don't know where that is at. And I am.
No, I'm not saying they have money set aside for that. What I'm saying is they've been
But
spending
you
this
said
money
Social
elsewhere.
Security to get everything faster. So I'm trying to see what that experience is at.
Yeah, you got to be from a certain area. You got to be from certain countries around the world.
All right. Okay. So what would those countries be?
They're non-black countries. I'm gonna put it like that.
Like India, like Dubai,
Yes.
anything like that?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, then that applies to me. So I want to know where in the world this is at, because my girl is from India, and but she's born in Dubai. So I would like to know.
Hold on. We gotta.
Who owns all the stores in the neighborhood and gas stations? Not black people. I'm just keeping it
There's
real.
a lot of reasons behind that, but I agree with that. Yeah, there's a reason there for sure.
They can go to the bank right now and get a loan without even having any credit. But as African Americans, we go to the bank and our credit is 650, 700, and they turn us down.
Well,
that's not true.
It's just it's a lot, man. You saying a lot of stuff that I happen to have experience with. So I'm like, because I deal with credit, I deal with thousands of people's credit reports. I can tell you you have to go a long time before you find somebody that got more experience with dealing with just credit and people's credit reports. I'm telling you, if people are getting denied for loans, this credit system is so corrupt for everyone. Everyone. Okay, we have all types of races getting denied for stuff, especially since COVID started.
I happen to have a contact in TransUnion, but I'm not going to speak their name either. I don't say these things out of the blue. I say these things because I know firsthand.
It's funny going to
pay attention.
I mean, man.
Don't slip up. We were like, John.
I know a whole lot of people. I just be keeping it,
right. I'm telling you may know these people. I do this every day. I'm telling you, this system is corrupt. I agree with you on the credit system in general, but it's not because of race. It's not. It used to be. I agree with it. Used to be, and they still ask the question, "What race are you?" Which makes it look even worse on their part, which I agree. However, when we go through the process of getting people funding, cleaning their credit, building it up, I'm telling you, regardless of wherever they are, it's all about having the right, score, as well as making sure you have the right amount of accounts to get approved for certain loans. And right now, they care more about having high scores and a lot of money. If you have money and good credit, they'll give you what you want, but they want to see a lot. And unfortunately, a lot of people can't always keep that up. This is why we help people do it. So when you're talking about it, everything you're saying, like I'm currently dealing with. So that's why I'm like, wow, listening where you're coming from. But if you have the information on Social Security, please send it to me and all these other forms of funding that they give out, because, I haven't seen that to be the case. But if you have it, hey, I'm all for it.
That's dope. That's dope. Dope conversation. To change gears real quick, did y'all see what was going on with the BLM, the New York protesters going into a famous restaurant and protesting? Did y'all see that? Because of the mandate?
Yeah, I read a little bit about that.
I didn't hear anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
You said
you want to protest on it?
Yeah, well, again, the new racism is those who are unvaccinated. There's a war going on right now, and there's those who vaccinated are blaming those who are not vaccinated, and we got to be careful and be aware of what's going on, because that's exactly what's happening. Here we go, another separation again of people. And that's what's happening. And I've always felt, in America, we're supposed to be the land of the free, right? If that's the case, then people should have a right to choose whether they want to get vaccinated or not. There's nothing wrong with people who want to get vaccinated. That's their decision. That's their choice. But to separate and turn away people because they're not vaccinated, that's discriminatory. And so I don't know. What do you guys thoughts?
Well, real quick, before anyone asks, I'm gonna play the video of what happened there. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to find it here. I'm trying to play it real fast. All right, can y'all see that? I think this is it right here. They make me watch the ad for 15 seconds. Can you believe this? Should have had this ready.
Act like you don't see.
We have some exclusive new video showing the violent beating of a hostess at a popular restaurant in Manhattan. The attack itself shocking, but what makes this crime even more remarkable is that it may be the first assault carried out in direct response to the city's indoor vaccination mandate. News 4's Adam Harding covering this. He brings us a story from the Upper West Side.
This is exclusive cell phone video of Thursday's attack outside Carmine's restaurant on the Upper West Side. Watch as the hostess stand is nearly tipped over. Tempers flare. At one point, a waiter helps carry someone away from the scene.
Oh, wow. That was bad.
We showed the wild brawl to customers. They are in utter disbelief, especially since the restaurant says it all started when the 22-year-old hostess simply asked a group from Texas to show proof of a COVID vaccination to dine inside, part of the city's executive order that went into effect this week. Law enforcement sources say the hostess was then repeatedly punched in the face and body and sent to the hospital.
The businesses have a role and the citizens have a role. So I think that we should all be held responsible and play our part. And we have to respect the business's decision. It's a privilege to sit in an establishment, so we have to respect their choices as well.
In a statement, a spokesperson for Carmine says, in part, it is a shocking and tragic situation when one of our valued employees is assaulted for doing their job as required by city policies and trying to make a living. Elijah Jackson was here celebrating his birthday with family.
I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed because, we're trying to get together. We're trying to open the city back up. And the only way we're going to do that is with vaccinations. And so I think it's a good idea that they're making it a mandate to get in with a vaccine card. But if that's the reaction, maybe we need to think of something else.
And tonight, the Hospitality Alliance is calling on the city and state to increase penalties for assaulting restaurant workers who are trying to enforce these new COVID rules. Investigators tonight also telling us 3 are now facing charges. On the Upper West Side.
Yeah, so what y'all think about that? Swanee, you can answer first because you know more about it.
Well, did you mention that it was Black Lives Matter?
Yeah, that was the video I showed was last week. Yeah, Black Lives Matter came in. I'm surprised
they came to protest
Texas,
that. Yeah, but to that point, again, the culture of this whole mandate is becoming an issue, and people don't see it in that way because they just do whatever their government tells them to do. There's not enough independent thinkers. There's not enough people who really study and research on their own. And so a lot of cases, especially in New York, in order for them to keep their jobs, they have to go along, with the process in order to keep their job and to keep their income to come in. And so what you're doing to employees is putting them in between a rock and a hard place. And they have to make a decision whether to keep their job and get that income or quit. Now, we already know that there's a whole lot of nurses around the country who refuse to take a vaccination and they completely resign from their jobs. And you're going to see a whole lot of that more often as the months come.
Well, what you got to say about that?
Well, from what I've seen in the news, if this is what happened, that's what we'll end up coming to. The whole us versus them thing that's kind of being created by the government and perpetuated by the media. It's it's not going to be a good thing in the long run. Now, I know that there's always more to the story, but things like this, there's going to be situations where, people, come in and, maybe someone does show their card and they're like, let me see that card again. Like, no, you're not looking closer at my card. Or someone might say, well, I told you I already got vaccinated or whatever. But there's going to be a lot of division. And
that happened with a black couple. He said he didn't take the vaccine because of religious reasons, and he had a piece of paper from the pastor, and they kicked him out, and he recorded it with his kids in there. They got a meal. What I would say is, for those people who was fighting those women, they should have actually played the victim and got more done. You know what I mean? Now they're going to try to hammer down. Biden's going to hammer down on these laws because it attack these people. I think they should have kind of played the victim on that, in my opinion. We're going to try to answer that, but we got to show one of our sponsors, AFJC Worldwide, real quick.
Check out one of our sponsors, AFJCWorldwide.com. That is AFJCWorldwide.com for our latest apparel, homeware, and drinkware. Definitely get a shirt for your husband, wife, doesn't matter. Again, check out AFJCWorldwide.com.
All right. Will, sorry to cut you off.
That's all good. we got to pay the bills.
Trying to pay the bills here.
Absolutely.
But yeah, there's going to be more that ends up coming up. People scared. So that's all I got.
Yeah, real quick. Why are we going to these restaurants if they're requiring these vaccination? Go to New Jersey. Drive down to Philly. Really? I mean, if you get 100 people or 1,000 people or 10,000 people in New York City, drive to New Jersey, drive to Philly, and make a stance. That's how you do it. That's how you combat that.
Yeah,
we don't need those restaurants.
I agree, and I think that actually some of the people who are vaccinated, freedom in America, they need to follow suit. They need to be boycotting.
This is what happened with the Jews. Like the Jews, this is how they got that paper, man. You remember white people wasn't messing with them, and they came together, and they started working with black people at the time, and they made that money. Like this is the perfect time to do it. Like we're so active, we act like we depend on them. Oh my God, this is perfect time. But I mean, I don't like the discrimination, but at the same time, hit them where their pockets is, man. Stop going to these football games. Stop going to the next games and stuff like that, and create our own. Like the Black Renaissance happened when this happened back in the 1920s when they were doing the same thing. We could create a new Black Renaissance right now. What y'all think about that? Well, hold on. Let me back that up because you see on the camera, there's a lot of Black people who believes in this stuff too. So maybe I'm jumping the gun here. Black people thinking like, oh no, they need to get the bucks. I messed up on that one, but I forgot that dude was on there.
You did the voice wrong. They oh please Lord, we gotta listen to Massa. We gotta be able to take that short Lord, oh Lord, man.
Oh Lord, oh Massa, oh Lord, oh no, that was that. What's that dude off of the Django? Oh man, yeah, that ain't gonna work, man. Wishful thinking. What you think, Ashton? What's your thoughts?
Ooh. Yeah, there's a lot to say. Let's start from the top. So about 4 years ago, a friend of mine, I used to live in California for those who don't know. And so when I was in California, I had a friend of mine that got sick, stomach virus, something like that, had to go to the hospital. So when he went to the hospital, he told me to come pick him up. And when he wanted me to pick him up, I said, okay, I'm going to be there in a little while. I finally get there. I parked in some, like really close by in a little garage or whatever. Now, this is at Kaiser Permanente Hospital. Okay, this is not no small little rinky-dink hospital. This is like the main one in California, there in Riverside. So this is in LA. And when I get there, he comes out. He's, coming out of the room. So as I'm walking out of the room, I had brought my parking ticket because I wanted to make sure I got it validated because he told me that, hey, they'll validate the parking. I said, perfect, $15 saved, let's make it happen. Now, I go to the main area, like when you go to any, hospital, you go to that main, like, administration section where all the nurses are at. So I'll go over and I'll ask them, so can you guys validate? And they said, no, we can't validate unless you get a flu shot. Then I said, hold on, let's start over. Can you guys validate? And he said, no, only if you get a flu shot. Otherwise, we don't validate anybody. So I said to myself, now this is way before COVID. And I've never got a flu shot my entire life, by the way. So I said to myself, what is so valuable in this flu shot that as a business, it's worth it for you to give someone a flu shot because it's more valuable than them paying the parking costs.
Wow.
So that's exactly how it went. Now, I had already had my suspicions about different things in the industry, and a lot of people say, oh, you guys are conspiracy theorists, but there are clear-cut issues that are happening. So now you fast forward to 2020, all of a sudden we have a issue where a pandemic overtakes the earth. We all got caught slipping. Nobody saw it coming. Nobody knew what to do. We hit everybody. We were all bewildered, right? And they made such a big deal that now it became where everyone was shut down, locked in the house, caused massive amount of stress and pain to people, breaking up relationships. I had a friend that committed suicide because of this whole COVID situation. It just messed up with them mentally. And so when I saw that, and I saw the NBA and the NFL, and all these major organizations get shut down, which will make everyone afraid, right? Now you fast forward to this situation where now people are getting kicked out, and the president today is making it mandatory for people that have a business over 100 people to get vaccinated, right? On top of that, he's also working to make it mandatory for all immigrants to get vaccinated as well. Now, to answer your question, I completely can't stand this whole situation. I think that the force of vaccination is 100% crazy as possible. One, because having the vaccine doesn't stop anyone from catching the vaccine. It just makes everybody feel better about the situation. It's literally like if you're feeling better about being vaccinated, but is it stopping someone else? I think it's actually causing more problem, to be honest with you. And everyone's so brainwashed to fall for the vaccination. Like, oh, and to me, to think that the whole earth would be caught slipping like this, like everybody, nobody knew what to do. And then out of nowhere, they're like, hey, here's the vaccine. It solves everything. We're good. Don't worry about it. Just take it and we're out of here. Okay? How is it possible? I was telling people this a year ago. You have to test this on every different type of person in every different type of country. So what works for people in America doesn't work in other areas, like in certain parts of Africa. So how is it that all of a sudden we have a universal vaccine that's good for every single person that y'all just figured out in less than a year? How did you figure that out? And now it's like this. If I came to any one of y'all's houses, and let's say, now me and Will have been friends for like 15 years, right? I come to his house, as close as we are. I tell him, look, bro, you look like you could get sick, even though you're not sick. Let me give you something that I just came up with 6 months ago that I think will work. It's not going to necessarily stop you from getting sick, but it'll make you feel like you're not sick.
Great point. Great point. Great
Well,
analogy.
you know, wish Trump was in here now, huh?
We'll take it, Will. We've been friends all this year. You should trust me 100%.
Heck no, I ain't taking it.
Exactly. Yeah. So again, that's my answer. I have nothing else to say about that.
Man.
Listen, we agree. Wow, my man.
Oh yeah.
I knew it was going to come around one of these segments.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we 100% agree on this.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to start wrapping up now. But Ashton, you want to your final thoughts or what have you?
Oh yeah, I just want to thank you all for having me on here. Definitely appreciate everything. Hey, please send me that information so I can figure out how to monetize my situation because it's constant to go through immigration. So please let me know because it is not a joke. I don't know why people don't talk about. Oh, everybody just wants to come here. It is not free. It is not free at all. It's gonna cost real money, and yeah. And it's not quick either because that person, you be there, so you got to really have that real relationship. They don't allow it to be fake like they used to. Like, this is a real relationship, and I'm in a real relationship. It's not like I'm doing this for immigration, but it's just that I realize those that say that, oh, yeah, you can just come here for immigration and just fake it, it's not what they say it is. So I will say this again, please send me whatever information that you come across. I'll be more than happy to receive that info, but more importantly, I just appreciate you all for letting me come on here. Wish you guys nothing but the best. Let's keep making it happen out here.
Thanks. Is there anything you want to promote or anything right now?
Oh yeah, guys. He mentioned credit. Again, a part of the success here is, if you're having problems with not even just credit, but more importantly, with building. I specialize in helping people build a business, give them the advice they need to kind of grow and scale the business, but also use credit to fund their business and then actually go buy assets such as, other businesses, real estate and so forth. So if you're looking to really take yourself to the next level when it comes to business, reach out to me. I'm Ashton W. Sanders. Check out AshtonWSanders.com for more information. Be glad to help you guys out. Thank you guys.
Awesome. And real quick, send Will like a banner, and next week we'll put your banner up.
All right, perfect. I got it ready right now.
We usually charge, man, but you're the man, so we're gonna pass that.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you all.
But
I'll be calling you, my brother. We got to conversate.
Oh, bro, I'm gonna make sure you're a rich man. Don't worry.
Y'all both remind me of Boondocks. The two. You got the one that say, "Nigga, that's gay," and you got the smart one. That's how y'all remind me of that.
That's funny.
Sorry, I'm just joking. Speaking on this, man. I'm sorry, man.
Oh God! Oh God! Harder one too.
I should have covered it up.
Yeah, you should have.
Covered it up. I was gonna get paid for it.
You better
All
send them
right,
an invoice.
All right. Yeah, you should send them an invoice. I agree. But yeah, guys, let me know if anything else comes up. I will be here watching the show. Thanks so much, y'all.
All right.
My man Ashton, man. I ain't seen him in a long time, but that's an intelligent brother. All right, Swanee, you want to say your last time?
Yeah, man.
First off, man, we gotta say how great you are to us, man. You've been really supporting us, man. Much love to you. I see just us. I see that you support everybody, like in the neighborhood. So you basically talking like you walking. So I really appreciate that about you. I'm watching you, man, doing your thing. So, yeah.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate y'all, man. And anytime, and see, this is what we've been missing, for 60 years, is coming back together, reuniting as a family, and starting with our household, like you said early in one of your earlier shows. And that's important. It starts in the household, and then it branches off to the community. Then it branches off to your friends and family. So that's very important to me. And I hold those values because it's important for our growth. So yeah, I appreciate that, man. And I'm always going to support you guys no matter what. It don't even matter. And that's just who I am. And that's how we all should be. So again, man, I appreciate you guys for having me on. I appreciate the brother you had on before me, Ashton. I love a challenge, but that's how we grow. We learn from each other. We may not always agree at the moment, but we learn from one another, and that's how we grow together and build up our nation as a people. And so I appreciate that. And you guys out there, man, TNJ Radio Show every Wednesday, man. Share this, like it, and subscribe. And man, this is all love, man. I appreciate you guys once again. Will, appreciate you, man. Ron, appreciate you, man. And peace out.
Definitely man, appreciate that.
Coming on.
Man, that was dope.
He
man, he's so cool, man.
Out here, and
I've
everybody.
been seeing him. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he talks it like he walking, man. He definitely lives what he says. So I really appreciate that. Notice since I was 10 years old when he was farting in class. Yeah, he's a cool dude as a kid.
Back seat, huh?
Growing up. Huh? What you say?
I say he wasn't out putting boogers on the back of the chairs in school, was he?
I mean, he's a funny guy, man. He still laugh a lot, and he was a funny dude. He was the pretty Ricky dude. He was like Pretty Ricky, like everybody wanted him. You know what I'm saying? Pretty Ricky, what they called him, but he was goofy as a kid. Then he all matured. He matured more than before everybody else, though. We got to high school. So but he's cool. Love him to death. Yeah, man. We appreciate everybody coming on the show. All the callers, man. Definitely put up the cash out. We should have had it out before, but we appreciate the people who are supporting. Let me pull that up. Unless you want to do it, I can't. Our cash app up there, and also we have a Patreon as well. Will, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys here. Let me just switch that up there. Yeah, so you guys had seen one of the previous guests, Ashton W. Sanders. He might be humble, but he's actually went from homeless to making multiple six figures. Very well-known guy in the business world, knows a lot of information. Well, we actually sat down and did an interview with him, and we do a lot of interviews like that with different people who are making a difference in the community. So what we'll do is we'll usually release the clips out during the week, but we got good news. That's the good news. The great news is that you actually don't have to wait for the full release of the clips, and you have the opportunity to be able to support the show at the same time by subscribing to our Patreon. So for a small nominal amount, you can actually support the channel and at the same time get access to exclusive content before everyone else. So be sure to check out our Patreon, and I'll put that on the banner right now.
Real quick, we'll play a little quick clip.
Now, you had mentioned how you were kept out of a lot of trouble by being involved in the church and different things like that. But what about times when you were away from that situation? Let's use school, for example. How was it going to school around that middle school time?
I was actually a bad kid. Like, it's so that's how I act now. But yeah, I was a really bad kid. Like, when my father and them had separated, I was in middle school, and then I remember I think it was going into like 5th or 7th grade or something like that. And I just started acting up. I was always fighting.
Yeah, so definitely the rest of that video. Go to TNJRadio. It was really great interview. Will, you did a really good job on that. We appreciate Ashton giving his time. Like I said, we got page. You know, what I like about it, we like to push real men and real man. So we have a lot of T-shirts for fathers, man. Check out
one of our sponsors, afjcworldwide.com. That is afjcworldwide.com for our latest apparel, homeware, and drinkware. Definitely get a shirt for your husband, wife, doesn't matter. Again, check out afjcworldwide.com.
Yeah, so definitely support that. Get on there, get you a shirt, mug. My boy, he bought the mug that looked like a Steeler cup. You know, Black Fathers Matter. So really appreciate that. All right, so the show, man. You got anything else you want to say? You want to end it?
Oh man, phenomenal show. Glad we were able to get different perspectives. Just think about that. We had someone from the Caribbean. We had someone who is a beacon in the Black community on the ground. We had someone who's in the immigration process, as well as in Texas, as well as we had someone who's been working with the government. So, like, these different views here. Hope you guys were able to learn something. I know that I did, and man, I can't wait. I'll actually be listening to the show again.
Yeah, I learned a lot, man. I learned a lot from Swanee when he was talking about what was he talking about, the Social Security. You know, immigrants getting Social Security early, and there were some people in the comments confirm that. I learned a lot from Mike, Keith, and so it was dope, man. So with that, I just want to leave it there, man, and see you next week.
All right, peace.